I was scrolling through my phone the other day and I saw something that really surprised me. Something I hadn't noticed before. Huh. Anyway, hi, I am Charlene. Oh no, don't know if everybody all right. Thank you for thank you for stopping by. Just come right in, and let's get into it. While I was going through the phone though, I noticed something that kind of stopped me in my tracks. I was scrolling through, looking at some videos, looking at some photographs, and then it occurred to me that I was seeing the same space, the same room, my living room, my dining room, and my kitchen, which is really one open concept house. If you're new here, that is. And when I was looking, I said to myself, but it's all the same space, or all the same spaces, but something looked different. And then the ding dong moment went off, and I looked and I said, oh my God, these spaces have all been adapting to the many different seasons that I have been going through. I really never set out to document the seasons. I was basically documenting aspects of my life. And one week, the room was carrying demands for work. Another week, it was my office. Another week, there was clutter. The place looked miserable. And then another week, I'm sure they will say another week. It's like me I tell, because sometimes the clutter is sitting there. Let me just be real with you. No other week. You're sitting there for weeks. I'm sure it has gone months. And then without realizing that while I was capturing aspects of my life to share with you on YouTube, my spaces were adapting to all the many seasons. Wow. Not for a second did I realize that all of this was taking place. You know what is weird? That as an interior decorator, I think a lot of people assume that I get up, and I won't speak for anybody else, I'm speaking for myself. I get up and I decide that I'm gonna be just cleaning up the space every day. And so when I appear on camera, it is sharp and immaculate. And sometimes you have to do a little bit of light tidying, but for the most part, you can tell the space is the same, right? I don't, and for the persons who decorate for different seasons, it's the same space that you're using. But are you aware though that these spaces are capturing celebrations? They're capturing family gatherings. They're capturing when you require a quiet moment and you just want to sit with a cup of tea. It's the same space that's doing all of that. But guess what? It is just simply adapting to all the many different facets of your life. And I'm like, whoa. Anybody stop and think about that though? Think about it. And I don't think for the most part we get to even appreciate that while we might call it home, There are days when the space is readily there to just adapt to whatever it is that you are going through at the time. Isn't that an interesting thought though? And so, to be honest with you, when we're going through those different phases, and I can't speak for you, but I know you can identify, you can relate to what I'm saying. There are days when every single surface in my house is working, occupying things. Could be the next event that I'm leaving to go, and my dining table holding the things that I need to pack. And the room now becomes a part of the work. And there are days when it is really, really untidy to the point where my nervous system can't settle. But that was just simply the season that I was going through. I know that the untidiness or the mess is not gonna last forever, because before you know it, we're doing something else. And then the space will adapt to that as well. Then there comes a day when I need something different, another project, another deadline, or just simply some quiet. So I will slowly, after moving out the things, or before the things come in, create space for the new things that are going to come in and for the things that are going out. I will use that opportunity deliberately right after to reset the space, because life does require balance. And so when your life gets chaotic, it can be chaos every day. There has to be days when you're looking at the opposite of that, and that is quiet and reset. And your space is there to be all of that for you. When it gets really messy and the reset is inevitable, at the end of the day, it's not that I'm trying to chase perfection, but I really do function better when my space is clean, when it is clutter-free, and it is calm. And that quiet was not accidentally created, because like I say, balance is also very, very important. But when I'm looking through the pictures though, the room, the space was just quietly adapting alongside my life. It has carried the seasons that I didn't even thought was existing simultaneously with me going through all of what I'm going through. And what I find though is that persons assume that as an interior decorator, that the beauty or the aesthetic will come first. For me, that's not how it works, especially in my lived space. If I'm creating for a client, I can see where that could be the rule of thumb. But in my spaces where I'm living every day, function comes first. And then life will come after that. And so the aesthetic is really just the spin-off of all of that, you know? So even when I'm here and I'm creating a video, and I'm creating a video for the channel, it's not primarily about aesthetics, because at the end of the day, I want the space to feel lived in. It needs to feel like it is occupied, because it's definitely not a museum. That much I can tell you, it's not. No, well, not for me. And so that is why when I looked at the photographs and saw how many times the rooms have changed, you know, And even when I look back too, now that I think about it, there are days when I will scroll through the videos on YouTube, my videos on my channel. And when I look and I see the many different celebrations that I will decorate for. So you will do Christmas and you will do maybe you do a theme decor and all of that. It is really your space that is adapting. Think about it seriously. So you are creating whatever it is that you are creating, or even if, like for us, we will do and Christmas, I think, is the one that we celebrate the most. Most persons can relate to that, when you want to change out everything and get everything to look different. And yeah, but that is just your space rising up to meet you when you get to that point. Isn't this an interesting point of view though? Because like I say, it has never really occurred to me before. And that was the takeaway while I was looking at those pictures. And to be honest with you, it's not even to say that it is the best spaces that will create this kind of awareness. It's not. It's your regular lived-in space. Regular lived-in space. But I think the issue is we don't take the time to notice this. And so at this juncture, I just want to say that I'm extremely grateful that I do get to document my life and be able to look back and to see the many different seasons that are taking place, all in the same space. And it just quietly adapt as we do. Anyway, walk good. I'm looking forward to see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.